just kind of put our peepers on it really quick. It looks like maybe this is broke. Well, we're back in the garage. Welcome back to everybody. If you saw my episode 2 of the What's on the Table Tuesday, you caught a glimpse of this. And now it's time to watch the full build. We're going to open this up together. I haven't even popped the plastic on this yet. So let's get it opened up. I'm excited to see it. This is an MPC. It's a USA-1 Bruce Larson's 1974 Pro Stock Vega. There's a little sign here that says it's a reprint. New tooling. So we'll get check that out. It's going to fight me a little bit. There we go. Goodness. So anyway, I've never seen the old tooling, so I'm not sure what the new tooling is going to look like. If it's any better or worse. So this is anyway. It's got bucket seats, wheelie bars. Looks like a cool looking motor. Hood scoop on the hood. So let's get into the kit here. We're gonna, like normal, we'll pop the bags out, kind of take a quick look at them, but we're not gonna dwell on them because I don't like going through each individual piece, right? So I don't have to describe what a rim is, what a timing chain cover is, what an oil pan is, etc. Anyway, there's the chrome tree. We have our windows. Looks like we have the front and rear as one piece, the headlights, tail lights, possibly some side windows. I generally don't put those on just because they're kind of a pain. Couple sets of tires here with the Firestones Drag 500s. I seem to have been doing this a lot lately. I'm putting this stuff way too high in the air and you can't see it. Drag 500s on the race slicks, and it doesn't look like there's no writing on the skinnies. It is going to be a metal rod axle setup. And we got a bunch of white parts. Looks like pretty much everything is molded in white. That helps when we paint. But quite a bit of stuff in here, including your headers, your pulleys, and seats, wheel backs, roll cage. Extend part of it out, looks like. One thing I do like to do though is I like to pull the body out. Just kind of put our peepers on it really quick. Check the bag as always, make sure I don't lose anything or didn't fall off inside there. The body is kind of thinner than most. There is some parts of the molding process that didn't look like it was real happy. Looks like some flashing on just the hood here, so that's okay. A little bit of the window molding's got some flashing. It looks like it's got some, I don't know if that's in the mold or if it's, well, we'll have to sand anyway. The body lines look decent. Looks like there's some blemishes in here. We're gonna have to run some sandpaper over, definitely clearly to some scratches, but I'm not overly concerned about that. I am kind of concerned about this because this body is going to be white, so we're going to have to make sure we get that covered up. The inside tub looks pretty basic. A little bit of flashing on here, but it's not overly crazy. The frame tub, it's interesting. It looks like maybe this is broke. There's a cross piece that goes across here, and that wasn't in the kit anywhere floating around, so that's fun. I may have to take a piece of styrene, and I can cut that off and re-glue a piece in. I do have some really small flat stock of styrene, so that looks like that's going to have to be repaired. A lot of flashing inside the wheel, the engine housing area. Really choppy, really. It's a little bit of flex. A couple axle positions for the front and the rear. Okay. And we have our decal sheet. We'll pop that real quick and take a quick gander at it. For some reason I think there's going to be some fit and finish issues with this one, so we'll see. Anyway, but the decal sheet looks pretty good. Gives you the sides things are supposed to go on. That's nice. A little red, white, and blue action. So I'm excited about that. And your contingency stickers all look nice. So All right, this may take some work. I'm up for the challenge and happy to bring you along with me. Like I said, I am going to keep the body white and in the theme of the box stock look, because I do like the way it looks. I don't think we're going to change much unless I can't get that molding, flashing stuff, whatever that blemish off, then we may go with a different color. But, and for sure that piece on the frame is definitely supposed to be there. It wants us to start with the tires, and that's what we'll start with. The skinnies, we have the wides, but first of all we're going to paint the back wheel backs flat black. Let's get after it. What do you guys think about the what's on the table Tuesday build or videos? Kind of want something. By the time you see this, it should be into episode 3, maybe 4. I kind of wanted something that's midweek. It kind of gives you guys something to look forward to. It's something that's like more current, right? So, you know, I'm about I try and stay about 3 to 4 builds ahead on YouTube. That way I know there's always content coming, and if I'm sick for a week or I'm out of town for a week or something, whatever, I know that my builds are just gonna upload and I won't have a week where I don't have a video. So I thought about, you know, I'll just do like a week in review, or not a week in review, but what's on the table. Tuesday, you guys will do what did I buy Wednesdays and stuff like that. And I'm trying not to regurgitate other people's content. And I think everybody has to have their own, something original. Everybody I subscribe to, I watch almost religiously. Every time I get a notification that they've uploaded, I'm watching. So I try not to do regurgitated content. Come up with my own stuff. Now, there's some tips, there's some different tricks that I've learned from some of the builders that I need to share. Like, you know, what if you're not watching their channel and this is the first time you popped in to a model car build? I want you to have that information, and generally, if I use someone's tip or trick that they showed on their channel and I'm using it on mine, I like to give credit because it's not my originality. If it's something I originated, then obviously give myself credit. But I've gotten stuff from Loki. I've gotten stuff from Matt's Models and More. A lot of tips from Kevco. So like, you know, like a lot of these guys that I watch, I see something I like that they're doing, and I start doing it on my channel. I got to make sure I give credit, because I don't want people to think that, you know, it's something I've mastered or designed or come up with. So gotta give credit where credit's due. Next thing we're going to start working on right out of the gate is the carburetors and the intake. You got to put them together. So I think we're going to paint those gold, or the carburetors are going to be gold rather, and the intake's probably going to be a flat aluminum. They're in rough shape, I'm not going to lie to you. There's I'm not exactly they're numbered, but you can't even read the numbers, so that's fun. 133 goes on 132. Does that help me? No, not at all, because this is like 68. I can't read that one. That's 69, and this is 67. If you look at the instructions tell you it's 133, 135, and 134. So but this is horrible, and we're gonna build this, and it's gonna look good when we're done. This carburetor's like deformed. This is in really rough shape. I almost think this car could be a candidate for an entirely different motor. So basically what they want is they want you to mount this like this. So there's no, and then they ask you to drill a hole in the back of the motor block to put the distributor cap in, which is cool. So basically just kind of sits on top of there. And this is why I'm kind of leaning towards the idea of just printing a motor off and replacing it completely. But we're going to put it together. We're going to see where we can get, see what ends up looking like when we start getting a little further in. And if I want to bail on it, then we'll bail on it. The guy telling me that my hand is always in the way, and it is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm right-handed, so it makes it difficult to I can come up with a different location for the camera. We're gonna work on these rims here. So they give you 2 sets of 136s, and they're different. I'm not sure what this rim is for. Just a random rim on the sprue. That's fun. I can put these rims together. Attempt to. Try and put this interior together if I can. I think I'm probably gonna have to use the other glue though. That it's gonna be difficult to get in. We're just gonna glue some of this together here, and we're gonna paint it all black. And we have a lot of other options. Get the dashboard done. Interior is just going to be black on this car, and then we will do something with the roll bar. We'll change the roll bar color, probably aluminum would be my guess. Watch our placement here of this. So this has got to go in with these 4 pins facing forward, like that. All right, try and set this one in. Going into it, I knew it didn't look right. I'm like, this is not right. This is not what it's supposed to be. My fingers are in the way. It's hard to see, but what I'm trying to do is just hold it in place down in these little tiny valleys that it sits in, just so I can get a good set on those parts. So we'll hold them, be back. It's easier to paint these roll bars if you can get them all together instead of trying to glue them after they've been painted, because the glue points are so small, and you got to end up having to shave the paint off, because obviously cement won't do its thing if it is painted, and then you end up ruining the paint or bubbling the paint. So from this position, I'm going to look down inside. I'm going to try and lower the front pieces. And it doesn't match all the way down there, but it's going to be close. Okay. I'm going to set this off to the side and let that do its thing. Alright, we're going to try a little something different. Something with a different angle on it. I'm not sure how that's going to work out when I swing you over to the paint booth, because I had to move my mount completely and readjust. But we'll see if we can't figure it out. So I had some black still mixed up from a build that I was doing with the pulling truck, and so we're going to utilize the rest of that and get some of this used up. So I'm trying a different camera angle. Some comments were made about my hand's always in the way, and I know it is, and I apologize for that, because where I had my camera was just basically off my left shoulder looking down, at an angle, and so I'm going to try this more of a top view and see if that helps. If that helps. So I am going to, I'm not going to take it to the paint booth. I'm just going to paint this up black. I may have to order another holder that is mounted to my paint booth. That would make a lot more sense. And then I can just pop the phone and everything can kind of stay as it is in the position that it is. And I think that's what the angle we're going to go from, at least this build. If there's something that I really need to show as far as the paint, I'll manipulate the connection over to that. But for now, that's where we're at. So I'm going to spray the tub in black. We're going to spray the dashboard, the frame, and there was a piece that it wanted me to glue over top of the frame. I think this is it. This holds down that axle shaft that goes through. I can see this is going to be a problem. So I do everything off the end of the table here. We're going to get this piece put on. It's tacked up, and then we're going to get over to the paint booth and we're going to color this stuff. Okay, I had to run some errands, let this dry up. We're going to get pool supplies. I am fighting algae in my pool horrendously. Just got it cleared up, and then it became wheat harvest season, and once harvest season, all the organic materials in the air, and well, you fight again. So I apologize again if you can hear my air conditioner. It's 100 degrees today, and we are getting blasted by the Canadian smoke from the wildfires, and you can hardly see outside. It's horrendous here in Michigan. So not for sure how far down it travels, but I know here in the state it's a mess. So anywho's, let's see, these are all dried up. Got the dashboard complete. All right, I'm gonna scrape the edges here, get them cleaned off so we can glue them in. I'm still, guys, I am trying to get my hands out where you can see them. Let's see. Yeah, I think I want to put the shifter in before I put that in. All right, I did the rivets. Might as well give her some kind of detail. So we're gonna get this dashboard put in place now. Like to get that colored. I'm kind of curious if I want to actually do that just in a Sharpie. See, a lot of guys are doing their stuff just in Sharpie, so we'll see how this how it takes. If not, I'll just paint it. I'll just mix up a little bit of red, and we'll shoot with the airbrush real quick. So I refuse to use Tester's paint. I'm really not mad at this. Set that off to the side, let that dry up a little bit longer. We're gonna paint the body white, and then we're gonna paint this lower section red in the spirit of its natural color. Work on getting this cleaned up. Next thing I want to do is I do want to figure out what hood I'm going to use. So I'm leaning pretty heavy on using this motor. I'm leaning real heavy on using this motor actually versus this one. I just don't like the way it looks. I think it looks kind of clunky, and I don't know, this one has much more detail to it. I do have to do some work to it. I'm gonna have to get some of it glued together, but just got a cooler looking headers. I do have to get them sanded, get them cleaned up. They're tuned headers. I mean, those are awesome. Really nice, where are we at here? Really nice definition on carburetors, the intake, Big shout out to MCS. I picked this file up from him or them. And even the flywheel broke the piece. I gotta fix it, but somehow I gotta glue the arm back on. It was stuck to the tree when I took it off. So what else we got here? Got the water pump. And we even have where we at? The distributor with the top of the distributor cap. It says MSD on it. Get that in there. That is some detail, guys. That's tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. We are given a couple hood options, and I'm not sure which direction we're going to go with that. I want to make sure whatever one I decide to go with has enough height in it. I don't want to take that off the tree until I'm ready, because I may decide to paint that. Kind of a tough call, really, to be honest with you. Oh, I like this. I decided to go with the scoop hood. I'm adding the scoop extension on now. Yep, that's the one. Wise choice. All right, we won't need that stuff. Put it back in the box. Let's work on putting some of this engine together. It needs a little bit of sanding, a little bit of scraping. This stuff is pretty soft. If you've never dealt with 3D parts before, I print my stuff in a tough gray blue. It's fast. Sierra, whatever it is. It's ABS-like, and it holds up really well. Right now we're just trying to clean off some of the sprue marks, or the tree marks that it creates when you slice it and put supports on it. I decided to go with this because the one that came with the kit is it's truly a mess. No other real way to put it. So I jumped on computer, picked up this file from MCS. When you do 3D prints though, if you're doing them yourself, if you get yourself a printer and you're doing them yourself, you will have stuff to clean up. It's just the way it is. 3D printing is not just plug and play. Guys, see people do it on the internet, or they see guys using stuff that they bought. When they're buying these prints from somebody like Adrenaline Junkies, or they're buying parts from Maddie's or Ice Man Collections or things like that, when you buy these parts from people, they're taking the time and they're cleaning your parts. They're making sure that this stuff's pretty much ready to go when it's delivered to you. So sometimes the prints come out great. Sometimes they have little parts of the tree hang on them, and you got to go through and you got to clean those off. Usually it just takes a little bit touch of your knife, just a little bit of pressure, and you can pop them off. But you need to clean them up. And when you're sanding resin print parts, you got to be really careful. You need to really wet sand. Helps keep the dust down. This stuff is bad for you if you get it in your lungs. So if you're sanding a bunch of parts, like if I took a big block of sand and started sanding this, you should be wearing some type of respirator or a good ventilation system, because you don't want to breathe that stuff in. Most paints will not stick to resin, or you have to prime them, because the resin is pretty smooth. It's not porous. So you got to use some sort of primer on them, or like I use Createx. So I mix my 40-50 in with the paint, and so that gives it helps it bond to a resin piece. If I'm gonna hand paint these, which I may, I'm probably gonna mix up a little bit of 40/50 gloss clear and hit them with my airbrush really quick to give them basically a primer coat, and it gives the paint something to hook to. And I did mention that you need to use super glue when you hook this stuff to, when you glue this stuff on. It's not cement, so you can't use cement glue. You need some good CA or good super glue, whether it's kind of a slower reacting like a gel, or you know, fast like Zap. I can't know if you can tell. The valve covers even have little plug boots in them. You can see the bolts. 3D printing is, resin printing is absolutely phenomenal. I'm gonna try and do this so you guys can see. Using this little allows me to get the super glue so it's not pouring on, and it's able to wick. All right. All right, got the motor complete. Everything's super glued in. Flywheel, the water pump, fuel pump, even the distributor cap. There is so much detail to this motor. The exhaust, it's got tuned headers. Now, the intent here, I believe, is that we're going to set this motor in, and it's basically going to be a curbside motor, meaning parcel, because I don't think I'm going to put a transmission on it. And I don't think, well, you know what, let me saw this off. Okay, my workstation is an absolute disaster, but we are going to start the painting of the white. Wait, I am going to paint the motor in white as well. That'll be mixed up with Createx, and we'll have a 40/50 inner coat with that. I want to paint it all white, and then when I can come back and hand paint the areas I need painted. So the transmission's not perfect, but it's going to be tight up against inside the car, so you're actually not going to see it. But I wanted the help of that to kind of brace it in. I was able to cut part of the yoke off the back of the transmission, so that it kind of butts up inside against the drive shaft, and so that's what we're doing. I ended up cutting it off this car, this motor. So anyway, this is what we're working with. We're gonna get all this painted white, so we're gonna mix up a good batch of that and get back with you. We got this shaken up good. Now this is lighter pigment, it's not as thick. We're gonna mix up, let's see, 4 grams or 4.08. And we're gonna 10% reduce this. We don't have to, because this is a lot thinner pigmentation, we're not gonna have to reduce as much. So we're gonna put 10% and we're gonna go 0.4, and that's gonna be our start. And then we can evaluate if we need any more or not after that. Make sure you get a good mix in there. Again, I'm not gonna have you on the paint booth on this one. I take my cap off, the protection cap, but that does leave an exposed needle, so again, don't swing around all willy-nilly with her. All right, I'm gonna get this painted in white. I'm gonna paint the hood white, paint the motor white, and then I'll bring you back and show you where we're at. I am just trying all sorts of different things so that you guys can get the best picture. I just watched some of my footage of gluing that motor together. I'm gonna have to cut all that out. You guys couldn't see a darn thing, so we're gonna try some different stuff here. I move my light over top of my workspace. I'm gonna use my headset, and I think I've got the recording device in a proper location now. So anyway, here we go. So here's the body so far. It's just painted in Createx opaque white. I blended that with some 4050 high gloss as an inner coat. I've shot about 3 to 4 coats on it. I want that to flash off really good because I'm going to tape off at that seam line, and from here down is going to be red across the front, around the back, etc. So we're just going to paint that in just the Createx Wicked Red. There we go. So I got the motor painted completely white. I don't know if that's not wet. My thumb's just got a chunk of white on it. This is going to allow me to come back in. Let me take that off here. And paint. Come on now. Paint the colors I want it to be. Let's get a focus here. But this motor is so detailed. It's awesome. This is going to look a lot better inside the car. I may end up not being able to put the hood on at all. I just tried to do an attempted hood, and it touches the top of the carburetor. So if I can't, then it'll just be a hoodless car, and that's okay. But there it is. All right. I started working on the motor, getting some of this painted. I was able to get the distributor cap. Anyway, so we're gonna work on some of this today. I want to get the red stripe painted on the body, the body, and some other stuff wrapped up here. Next colors we're going to do here are gold. I want to get the gold on the intake and on the carburetors. So we can get that shaken up and get it ready. All right, I need to order some more of this, but I'm going to first lay this down. It's 2 mil, I think. Yeah, 2 millimeter. So we're going to use it to start laying our first line down. It's a little bit more flexible and it holds down nice. And then I can lay over the top of that with 10 or blue tape or frog tape. All right, I shouldn't get any overspray up there, but you know, it is Newton's law play into effect with that one or not? I don't know. I should be able to keep my red concentrated. Get that over in the booth. I'm gonna spray that and I'll bring you back. Bring you in here for this too, I guess. Since I can't take you over to the booth, the phone is kind of stuck where it's at. Finally, I think I found the perfect position for it. So I got to get another phone holder that I can mount over at the paint booth. That way I can just switch my device over there. So we're going to put this as an inner coat. It's 4050. I mixed up 3 grams of Createx Wicked Red. We're just going to put about that much of the inner coat, which ends up being just over 10%, maybe like 11%, because I didn't stop squeezing fast enough. Next thing is you gotta get that mixed up. If you try and put the reducer in now, you can shock the paint. So you gotta get this mixed up. I did 3 grams. I don't have that much to paint, but I do have a 3D printed part that I'm gonna spray with what I got left in the red here. We'll start off with 0.5 grams of reducer and see how that blends in. All right. Well, I'm gonna spray this and I'll bring you back. All right. I gotta clean my airbrush off, but I want to get this tape off here before it sticks to the bread. I like to pull my tape off when it's still just a little bit wet, a little bit sticky, a little bit tacky yet. Always pull downwards towards your paint. All right. I'm gonna set that just back on my stand and let that dry up longer. All right, I'm gonna coming back to the motor again. I'm going to do this in a flat gunmetal If I can get these sunk down without touching anything. So I've got that glued into the dash across the back, and I use the glue points from underneath to tack those in. That way I wouldn't have the ruffling of the paint on those pieces. I did have to do it here and here though, because that front wanted to pop up. So unfortunately, that was that. All right, next thing we gotta do is we gotta get the body in clear coat. And I don't, I kind of wonder if I should try and do the decals thing. And then clear coat the decals in. I haven't done that before, and maybe this is just the perfect model to try it on. I'm gonna lay the hood ones on first. And the reason why is it's a 3-piece. You got 2 here, 1 here, each here, here, and then over the top. I'm gonna line up the hood ones first. I'll lay these in, and probably these ones back here if they'll fit. And then I'll get my angle, and I'll run some tape across the back so I can try and line the edges up as much as possible. But I think doing the hood one is going to be easier to do. These are very, very fragile. So I tried to go around the hood pin on this one, and that was a disaster. This one fit further this way than this one does, but I don't want to move it again, strictly because it is tearing. Every time I try and slide it, it just moves, it just tears more. So we're gonna leave it. And what we're gonna end up doing is taking our chrome pen and just going over the top of the decal with it. So we're just gonna use that as a guideline. I think we're gonna lay the rest of those over the clear coat, because as they're drying, they're peeling up from the paint. They're not sticking down, and it's just a matte finish. So I'm afraid what's happening is, or they're just not sticking to the matte finish. So we're gonna clear coat those. Hot in the room again today. I'm gonna clear that car body, and I'm gonna finish painting this. So I'm gonna shoot some clear on that really quick, and then we'll come back. We'll do some more painting on the motor, and then I'll show you the finished the body when she's done. We'll put the decals on, of course. We'll put those on when I get the clear coat on. They weren't sticking to the matte finish very well, and I don't want to ruin them. So we'll just put them on the clear, and then we'll call it a day of that. So plus I don't know how the main stripes I already put down are gonna hold on, because they were really brittle. So they were cracking just on the transfer paper there. So hang loose, don't go nowhere. I'm gonna come in here real quick. Let me stop the camera from bouncing. I've got 2 coats of clear on it now, It's looking pretty good. It's laying over the graphics better than I thought it was going to. And I touched up the graphics with a Sharpie. And here, one up on the top and the back, and over here. And you can't tell. So I call that a success. I'm not sure how much of that you saw. It looked like my camera may have been twisted to portrait. So I got the headers in flat silver. So that the motor's coming together pretty nice. So brought the car in real quick. I got the frame in clear coat. That's dry. As soon as that motor dries up, we can start working on that. The body still needs a little bit of time to flash. It's pretty dry now. If I wanted to touch it, I probably could. The clear coat went over top of the decals pretty good. So I'm not upset about that. The hood pins came out all right. They didn't get cloudy or anything. So as soon as this dries off, probably later on this afternoon, I will get the decals put on it. And then hopefully that motor should be in a position where I can handle that a little bit more, and we can get that motor set in. Probably go ahead and put the rear axle in now, so we're gonna do that. There we go. We've got wheels. Vroom vroom. I think I want to set the fronts in now. There are a couple different positions for these. You got a lower position and a high, and I'm gonna do the upper. Yeah, I'm gonna do the upper because the other one sits back just a little bit too, so it kind of crowds the rear fender. So we'll get those glued in. So where we're at, the motor is drying, the body is drying. This is ready to go into the body, and once we get that done, then once we get the assembly complete, then we can finish out. I gotta get the glass in, but I can't do that until body dries. Set up now. We're gonna start working on some more decals here. We'll lay a couple on. I don't think I need to do the entire thing. This one is extremely long. So the goal here is to try not to rip it. Famous last words. Well, they're on. The red side, this side went on actually really good. Really good. The blue side, well, the blue side broke. It was breaking coming off the water slide. So the USA broke. I was able to fix it. Can't even tell that one. The long one on the top, it broke when it was trying to go over top of the handle, but I kind of quasi fixed it. The upside, these got clear coated in, so that was nice. Although I did notice like a little air bubble underneath this one, under the clear coat, so I'm hoping long term that doesn't do any damage. But anyway, there's that. Such an idiot. I thought my phone was sitting up there recording. All right, so I've got the motor in. Now, the motor obviously is not designed for this car, but I was able to shave part of the yoke on the back of the transmission. Again, this is a Chevy transmission hooked to a Ford. but it's doing nothing more than just supporting the back of the motor and filling up some space. So I was able to get a glue point from the cross member here to the bottom of the oil pan here. The motor is sitting in just about as straight as I can possibly get it. I guess I probably could have straightened just a little bit more, but I think it's going to be fine. If it's not, I can pop it. I think it'll be all right. It should be easy enough to pop. And it doesn't look like it's... This may tuck in too when I get some more of this stuff glued on. Everything should, quote, unquote, ready for some assembly. It is a one piece, so we got that going for us, and does have the back windows in it. This also got the tail lights here, so I don't want to lose that. So I think we're going to be pretty good as far as putting the window in. We'll be able to cement that right to the top of the roof. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about any of the clouding or anything like that, so that's a bonus. Let me stick something down here. After all that work of clear coating and paint, and then I get chunks of plastic stuck in there, that would be miserable. All right, so we're gonna tack that in there with the good glue here. I'm going to pinch this. We're going to put some towards the back here. And here. This stuff wicks pretty good, so I don't want it to wick backwards. End up with the clouds. So we're going to pinch this down and back in a minute. All right, that is in, I think. I hope. Now, can I wedge this in there without damaging anything or popping that glass loose? Probably not. All right. How does this glue in? We may just kind of chill for a minute and come back to this and let that set up. All right, I know that the firewall touched right in through here, so I opened that up along with this to give us some points to glue. Now, these kind of go back in here, I think. This locked in that piece back there, but it's possibly not. Oh my gosh, that motor came off. That was super glued in there too. It's all right, I can re-glue it. Oh, the firewall hit it, but it was still super glued. Okay, not an issue, not a big deal. I'll just re-super glue it. Or we'll just take it out. All right, so that's where that was supposed to sit. Okay. So remember me saying the frame was all bent. This is the problem. I think that is supposed to slide back in these little guides back here. With this frame being bent, we're gonna have another situation where it's gonna be a glue and hold again, I think. And try and get this glued down to here. I still can't believe that came out of there. I had to cut the battery out, and that was super glued with just a little tiny piece. Matter of fact, it broke the resin. That thing flew right out of there. I don't know if I can collapse the body around this to help that scenario. I'm gonna try and glue this on here. I don't think it's going to help because with that being broke, that's just going to want to flex. Oh, this is just a bummer. I almost wonder if I'm going to have to super glue this in. I hug the body around it and super glue the body in. Okay. After gluing my fingers together just once, I broke out the big stuff. So the only way I could get it to even remotely stay in like it's supposed to, I ended up having to glue it to the side of the frame. So scrape the edges along the sides, laid a bead of super glue, and then squeeze these over. Not exactly like I wanted it to be because it kind of pulls the lower rockers in way too far, but it's the only way that it was gonna hold because the whole thing just buckled. It was really bad. And with this being broke, there was no support there had there been another piece going across to help that hold that. So it didn't sit back exactly like I wanted to back here. It's just overall kind of a mess, but there is some success story here. Some, not much, some. But I really want to get this motor put in. We're gonna have to re-glue that. All right. This will give me an opportunity to reset the motor straight. I'm not gonna be able to use the hood, guys. I'm really super bummed about that. I mean, I took some time to work on that. I think I may have, no. She's hoodless, boys. Looking at the other hood. Oh, that's so close to fitting. That is so close to fitting. It's hitting the distributor. If that motor was sitting back just a little bit further, I think we'd have been in good shape. All right, so I did a couple different things here. One, I popped the snorkel off this one just to see if I could salvage this hood, and it's still, I think I could probably cut this out more, but it is still going to hit that distributor. So, well, I did this a second ago. This one, I cut the snorkel off. This was the other hood that was given, and I ended up filing out and digging out this whole section to the point where she's pretty thin right here. It's actually transparent, so I cannot dig any more out of that. So what I did is I popped this one off to see if I could do anything with it, and I can't. Gonna be in the same situation here. So what I'm gonna do, I think I might play with this in a little bit longer, but essentially this now fits over the intake, and I've gotten it down just as far as I possibly can. It's not gonna go down anymore, and I think that's gonna be okay. What I'm gonna do is, because I don't have any more decals, I'm gonna paint this flat black, and this is gonna be a flat black hood. So I'm gonna get this over to the paint booth. I've already got it sanded down, I've got it cleaned off. We're gonna give this a coat of black, and then we're gonna clear coat it in matte. All right, next up are the bumpers. I already got these scraped off, both the front and the back. These are really nice because they just slide right into the holes. There's no guesswork to it. Just gotta make sure you put it in the right way, and we'll do a test fit on that quick just to make sure. Yeah, all right, and they go in here like this. Okay, we are not putting the wheelie bars on. Here's the scenario. It wants the wheelie bar angle somewhere in here. So even if we put it here, it's not, it shows these pins on this going in here. So it actually has it going backwards. So that's an option, and here's the deal. I'm opting out. I think we're gonna clear off the table. I got all the bumpers on, got all the decals on, the windows are in. We are gonna do a final review on this guy. And so I'll be right back. All right, a little in review. So I had a lot of frustrations in the beginning of this build. Just real quick, the frame was broke near the front. It had a really bad bend in it, and so it was like shaped this way. So just do a real quick spin here. I ended up going with a different hood, but we'll get to that in a second. The decal set, the red side went on amazing. The blue side was actually breaking during the transfer from the decal sheet to the car. Very brittle. I noticed a lot of the decals were like super brittle. We continue on with that. Now the hood situation, kind of holding my phone here. The hood situation, I ended up going with the optional hood that they give. Had a snorkel on it. It was pre-molded. I cut that off and sanded it down so that I could open up the hood to this guy. This is a Boss big block KAAS motor, K-A-A-S motor. Anyway, I 3D printed this, and from MCS, I bought this file, printed this motor, and slid it in. I did marriage it up to the Chevy transmission solely for placement, just so it would help hold it in place. This motor has got so much detail, and it's absolutely insane. Even the MSD on the distributor cap is a part of the 3D print. Guys, you look down inside that carburetor, you don't get that from a plastic mold, I'm telling you. So this turned out absolutely phenomenal. The interior went together super well. Roll bar system, everything went in there nice. Had no issues with that. The body itself was in really nice shape. The body is sturdy. Oops. The body was sturdy, well built. I have no complaints with the body. Just the frame was all womped out. It was in bad shape. So the wheelie bar system, we obviously watched that towards the end. We opted out of that because the way it wanted me to install it made absolutely no sense. It wasn't going to look right. It was going to be bent the wrong way based on where the pins were, and I think that just kind of follows along with the trees. Just the parts of this kit was just kind of in rough shape. So things didn't really line up well, but we did what we could do. Pop that off so I don't lose it. Because the frame was so bent, I ended up having to, it wouldn't stay in the back. The pieces in the back, there's like two little notches. They slide towards the back where the bumper goes in. They would not go in there because I set the wheels back too far. So I had to kind of fix the middle. Because this was still bent, there was no attachment piece. This part was broke from the factory. There was no missing piece even in the kit. So I basically had to super glue this thing in. I was able to file off the edges and later beat a super glue along the side, and then just caved the rocker panels down over top of the frame, and that's what's holding that whole bottom chassis in. It did not want to play well. So other than that, I mean, you know, I won the war with this. The other thing too, the other hood I wanted to use that I actually put decals on, it didn't go past the carburetors. And so when I looked at it, it was a shallower cut as well. And even this hood hits the distributor cap, so I had to go in. I don't know if you can see, I ground out and sanded out that section to get the hood to lay down just as tight as I could get it. And I actually ran out of plastic, so any more filing or sanding would have poked a hole right through the end there. But I'm going to take my chrome pen. I will highlight the hood pins. Other than that, guys, the Bruce Larson USA-1 74 Pro Stock Vega in the books. It went together okay, other than, you know, just the issues that the frame had and the fit. So other than that, I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to check out my links below for gallery, for Spray Gunner, and for Amazon. If you see any of those things that you like to use on my page, click over to those websites, and you can find those items on those websites. I have affiliates links to those, so you can check those out in the description. Guys, I appreciate you watching. I am almost at 500 subscribers. This is insane. I took a huge jump the other day, and I am just ecstatic, absolutely ecstatic. You guys are awesome, every one of you. All my subscribers, my viewers. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you click over there, click the subscribe so you don't miss any of the builds. Turn on the bell for notifications, share them to your friends, tell your family if they're into the hobby, come check out these builds and more. And if you haven't checked out some of them yet, if you're new to the channel, go backwards a little ways, watch a few of those videos too. So I hope I'm teaching you something. It's 706 models there. You're a hoot, man. I appreciate the shout out. I do beat myself up. I'm very, very hard on myself. So once again, guys, thanks for watching BTS Garage. Built to scale. We'll see you later.